Hey everyone. So in the previous session, there was discussion around, improving the customer experiences and how to utilize AI. However, if we look in today's world, the customers have a lot of options when it comes to buying from brands. They have a lot of brands to choose from. When it comes to which platform they want to buy from, whether it is e-commerce or retail or it is quick commerce. So plenty of options are there. Now for the businesses, the biggest question is how to get customer loyalty. And that is something we are going to discuss today. So let's start with how we define customer loyalty in today's world and how AI is helping building the customer loyalty. Nikita, would like to start?
Ready? Um, so customer loyalty, I think without overcomplicating, and most of us understand, a loyal customer is a customer that will come back. A loyal customer is a customer that will recommend. A loyal customer is a customer that has nice things to say about you. Um, all three together is the most loyal customer, but at least one of the three. uh, how a loyal customer is defined per brand. B2B, it would be different. B2C, it would be different. But for us at Woodland, I think loyalty is when there is top of mind recall. When someone says that, what's the best boot out there? Or what do you prefer in a jacket? And the men, because traditionally we're more male skewed, go like, oh yeah, I love my Woodland jacket. Oh, that boot that I had since college has not given up yet. Loyalty right there, brand love. So yeah, that in a nutshell.
And the choices if we talk about these are not only for B2C customers but for B2B also. Uh, few years back, if we look at say marketing technology landscape, there were only few hundred tools. Today there are more than 14,000 tools available. So how about loyalty in B2B space?
Yeah, loyalty in B2B is always defined by service quality, right? And service quality can change from industry to industry. Like if we are a steel manufacturing industry, then the how good are your components versus if we are a technology industry, how is the system stacking up, right? So in my, I have spent most of my career building B2B technologies, and I feel that over a period of time, what we have seen is that the choices have grown tremendously well, right? For in the technology industry today, you want a particular service, there's a lots and lots of providers out there. Switching cost is extremely easy, right? So differentiating that through the service quality has been the hallmark of how we have been able to command loyalty. For instance, uh, uh, is your product innovating, right, constantly, right? So that's one thing. Where does the product stop the rent seeking, and where does it continue innovating, right? That is very important, right? Again, in the payments industry, we see this between the card networks and UPI, for instance, right? Day in and day out, we see that, right? So to me, service quality and the continuous innovation kind of defines how to win customer loyalty in the B2B industry.
Rahul, your thoughts?
Yeah. So talking from a B2C standpoint, I'll just talk about my understanding of what loyalty is. For me, over the time, over the course of duration, I think the loyalty or the customer preference has changed from a price-driven approach to a value-driven approach. So as in when pockets have started deepening, I can spend more on experiences rather than just the pricing. Um, so there the customers are moving ahead with brands who are giving them at least that value. And then I'll just shift that to the B2B side of it, adding to what Ramanathan said. It is about adding value to your customer and also making them realize that they are important. So one of the key aspects that we have in Trackier is NPS. We always, look forward to having a healthy NPS, which of course every organization would. But the second is we always keep on taking necessary feedbacks from those customers, keeping a check on the industry trends and asking them, our product team, especially, aligns call with those customers, asking them, what sort of feature upgrades or what sort of new features would help them achieve the scale or achieve the vision that they want to go towards.
Desi, from B2B perspective.
Yeah, one of our observation. Oh, sorry, that's fine. I thought you took a revenge. So one of the observation what we have is that the way we looked at the loyalty in the past is dramatically changing. The loyalty has been looked into two measurable parameters. One was how many times your customer is coming back, and the second is how much of the points I'm giving and how much he is consuming. So loyalty programs were always derived out of the pointing system or based on the repeat buying only. But now things are moving towards a different scale, and we believe, I'm not saying it from the context, negative context, but we are already in the market or heading towards a market where there is no USP among companies and there is no more loyalty in the system of social psychology. People, either they are satisfied, henceforth they want to come back to you, or they are not satisfied even by few percentage point, they have enough options to switch to another company. So where the world is heading towards is that, in the B2B sector, we used to say, what's your uptime? In a technology world, what's your uptime? So when the internet world started, we used to say, if you are able to provide 99% uptime, you will have a satisfied customers. And then it became 99.9. Now you are at 99.999%. And I think we are not too far away to break the 100% uptime expectations of the market. So what we feel is that loyalty is no more a straightforward answer. It's a three-step process: confidence building, trust building. Henceforth, loyalty is evolving out of the confidence and trust.
Great. So from B2C perspective, have you seen any changes in the customer expectations, Nikita?
Tremendous changes over the years. Just a basic thing that if a customer is coming to you, firstly, the touch points that they are coming to you with are multiple. The expectation is that if I've spoken to you over phone, sent you an email because I'm really irate and I have no patience, I will go on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, tag you everywhere. You are somehow supposed to just know who I am, what my order is, and how you're going to deal with me. And all of this needs to happen within a very crisp tat, which is not easy to maintain, which is obviously also dependent on humans thus far, at least in Woodland. And something that I think we wouldn't change is the delight touch point to always be human. The emotions to always be human. And I think today in the morning only Desi and I were speaking, and we were talking about this, that when it's process, when it's just, FLR maybe, your first response, AI is fine. But the moment there is any kind of aggravation, any kind of emotions involved, human needs to step up right there. And there needs to be a process that is the need of the hour to switch very seamlessly between, okay, this is where AI kind of stops, and my human is going to come and have a conversation one-on-one and try to douse that fire. That expectation wasn't there earlier. Earlier, if someone's gone on to LinkedIn or Twitter or wherever, X now, they'd give you all the details. They would tell you, here, this is me, this is my phone number, this is my email address, etc., etc. Now the expectation is you have to know.
So no matter you are using a human agent or AI, the customer needs seamless experience.
Yes.
Very well put.
And if it's not, then there goes your loyalty, because suddenly you're not a brand that is from this time. You're a dated brand.
So if we talk about, how to utilize automation and or AI to build and strengthen, the retention and loyalty. Uh, any thoughts, Rahul?
So I think with the advent of AI, a lot of brands now have this capability to understand who your customer is, what is he doing, and how is he doing it. So I think that answers the three most useful questions for a brand. That I know as Rahul, is he a regular customer of this brand on a mobile device or a desktop device? What are his preferences? As in, does he want to be reachable on WhatsApp? Does he want to be reachable on, say, an email? Right, and with that, I think loyalty programs have evolved quite a lot. As Desi initially mentioned, they have gone beyond the concepts of points and coupon codes. But with AI coming into picture, at least now brands have a way to figure out that what's the behavioral pattern of this customer. Is he somebody who would just go forward with a 10% discount on an, or is he somebody who would just go with a flat coupon code of 250 on an average basket value of 2500? So I think these are some of the data points that AI is able to help the brands with, especially when it comes to the building a good and an astute loyalty program.
So figuring out how much is the good enough. Okay. So does it mean we look at it more from a transactional lens? And is it possible, if we look at it, as an exercise to build a brand? Any thoughts?
Transactional for loyalty rewards, etc. Absolutely. But I always say from a brand perspective and branding perspective, just to change the lens a little bit. AI is making such huge leaps because gone are the days where someone needs to invest so much money to get their products professionally shot on international models, national models, etc., to give the person a view of how it's going to look. AR is already there. You could have a virtual try-on for sure. But there are also AI where I could give a flat lay of something, just a flat lay image, and I can pick what kind of AI generated model I want it on. Do I want it to be on a plus size model? Do I want it to resonate with people who are differently abled? And because I've done an A/B test here, if in images that you're selling on e-com, there is a differently abled model, the rate of that product being bought is more than the others. It just shows inclusivity. It shows that, okay, it's not just meant for people who have no additional needs. I'll give you a very, very brilliant example. There are companies that are making speculative ads for big brands. One of them went viral for Adidas. They made a flower collection. And it's a complete AI ad, and now people are wanting products that were in that ad, which Adidas has not made. It started a very nice conversation between that agency and myself, saying that, can we make an ad for, say, Woodland, where everything is AI and I'll give you my products? And then they said yes, but I'll give you another flip side. Humans don't really like that. When you do a quick read of what comments there are, it's a good divide. This is not real. It makes me feel very weird. It goes that you've taken away employment opportunity from so many people. People don't think that there are also AI like there are people who are making this, so there are employment opportunities there. The long-winded answer to that is that there is so much growth, so much potential to bring this into loyalty as well, that there'll be a day that you, as my customer, can be featured on my website if you want to. I'll feature you as my prime model and make you the face of my campaign for your website, as in your device. And then for your device, you can be it. So there are so many ways in which you can build this with AI.
I just want to add a point on that. See, what I tell my clients, because brand building is is something which is more important from a recall perspective. So people should be knowing where do I go and get my product. But when you are planning your AI strategy to attach it to your loyalty and brand building, I say follow a triple P model. One is predict, and second is proactive, and the third is personalize. If you are able to, don't jump into anything and everything, because it's same like what it was internet in 90s and early 2000s. People do not know where to use AI right now, which will impact your loyalty or brand value building. So if you are able to predict it in your mind right now, that these are possible cases, use cases, and then do you want to be proactive on that? Like what she said, like, you know, when the transaction is happening, you may be jumping into in between and give them 10% to convert them. That's proactive. And hence for the third step is personalizing. Like, you know, you cannot have a 10% discount on a product anymore. Okay. Now, for instance, we provide solutions which will make pricing in an e-commerce platform different for each individual customers, not even groups. Okay. There's no like, you know, these are set of groups where the prices will be different. Now you can make individual that Rahul has a different pricing, and Nikita has a different pricing. That's possible today. So, you know, you should be able to do this 3 steps of P's and then plan your journey in building
is that allowed? As I know, I think differential pricing is not allowed in India.
Take that up. While it's not allowed, it's also not illegal. You can, it's unethical but not illegal. That's the space that it's in.
No, I have a little different opinion on that. I don't think it's a legal or illegal aspect of it. What you normally do in any business model is you have a floor price and you have a ceiling price. Okay, it's always a standard. What you can't do from a legal point of view is that you can't sell beyond the MRP if you have set. There is no government in the world which is going to say that don't sell it in loss. Because I have an inventory and I want to give it away, I may be selling it at loss. So the personalization is not from a price point of view only. You think from the context of your product choices. I know your product choices, and so age group based, demography, geography, or your behavior science. There are a lot of factors which can be used in personalization. It's not only
you are
price.
giving me different coupon than what you are offering to someone else.
Precisely.
Exactly. That's what is going to happen, because see, somebody may be satisfied with 10%. You know, I'll refer one brand, one large brand which is into network products in this country, Cisco, for instance. Cisco never had a standard pricing worldwide. If you have seen, they had a pricing model called GLP, Global List Price, and in a country like India, in some of the deals, they can go up to 80%. Okay, but in a US market, they will never go below 20-25%. So even though they have a GLP, why? The reason is simple, that it's a developing market. We need to encourage. So it's more from a marketing point of view that we need to encourage more network products to be adopted in India. And if you go and see it in Bangladesh, they may be going further down, right? So in the similar context is what we are talking. That was done manually in the past. Now you can do it per consumer also. That's the development which is happening.
Ram, you work with a lot of banks and fintech. Would you share some thoughts around how AI on automation is being used to improve the retention, engagements, and ultimately going for the loyalty?
Right. So for one of our banks, we launched a very hyper-personalized credit card product, right, which is a super hit amongst the Gen Z audience, the young audience, right? So it's basically pick your benefits kind of a card that we launched, and what we understood from that product is that 2 things. It simplified for the bank as to, look, I don't have to think for each persona, right? That okay, it's a married person, so I have to create this kind of a product. It's a single person, so I have to create that kind of a product, right? So they took a single product and then they gave all those capabilities to the user to build that recipe themselves, right? And the users also enthusiastically grabbed it, right? And I think this kind of a phenomenon we will see further and further in financial products, where personalization is very hard because the products are conceived to a certain P&L, right? And so it becomes very rigid, then you have to create individual products for individual kind of customers or cohorts, right? And it's very tedious, right? That's one thing that we are seeing. The second thing is that we're also seeing that slowly banks are adopting using the agents. Like you would have seen all of the banks using chatbots, right? That was the previous era. Now a lot of banks have developed voice agents, and they are using it for small use cases here and there, but not yet mainstream starting to use LLM, right? That has not yet happened, but we are seeing that there's a lot of curiosity to actually tackle that problem, right? In the banking industry, the difficulty is that the one size fit all is extremely difficult, right? It's not like, okay, you know what, we have 5 variants of a single product and then that is enough, right? Every scenario becomes slightly tricky, and customers also feel that when it is matter of money, I want guidance, right? Then that guidance cannot be cookie cutter. It has to be more personalized, right? And that is why you have the relationship managers. Well, arguably, we can argue whether they are doing a good job or not, but the idea of a relationship manager is to guide the customer with their decisions, right? And I think we will see a shift, a gradual shift towards either an AI-assisted relationship management or a completely AI-driven relationship management in the future, right? Which essentially is we are personalizing the service component completely, and of course even the after sales the sales cross-sell can actually be better for the banks if they train the tool adequately, right?
Yeah. So one very interesting point you brought was that human agent is there, how helpful that agent is. Sometimes I get frustrated when I need to explain the same thing to 3 people, and I'm generally very positive towards adopting technology, and the companies should move faster, and it can be done easily, utilizing the automation and AI chatbots for the internal purpose. And before I explain to them, they should know why I'm calling them. At the first place, I should not make that call. Interesting. So when businesses implement automation and AI, what kind of challenges generally they face? Would like to start.
See, the major challenge I feel is in the data, right? Desi was talking about prediction part, right? Prediction requires assimilation of a large amount of data. Who are you, right? And what all do we know about that customer, so that then we can offer something better for them, right? Today, most of the businesses, when let's say you're stepping into that business facility, they know very little about you, right? Do you like black or do you like white or blue? It's very hard for them to know, right? And even if you're a repeat customer, what have you purchased, and can we know on the basis of that, do you like ethnic clothes or do you like fashion, contemporary fashion, right? That level of analysis is very difficult in an omni-channel kind of a setup. While in the online setup, it is far more easier because the data is already in a very structured format. So
data for the omni-channel business.
data is extremely difficult. The other thing is the customers are moving, right? It's in a time axis, right? One of the banks in the US figured that whenever a customer hits 29, 39, 49, there is a tendency to purchase a shoe because they feel old and they want to run, and then they want to feel like young after running, okay? So they go and purchase a shoe, right? Now that's a fantastic insight, right? Through which the bank can actually figure out, okay, all right, I have 100,000 customers who are going to become 29, let me get them a deal from, say, a Nike, right? And then they can work with Nike, get them a group discount, right, for these for this cluster of customers.
Interesting insight. Nikita?
From an implementation perspective, I'll say that yes, data for sure. But I would also say adoption. And since we're amongst peers who would be the ones implementing, getting your leadership and everybody else to deal with change management. That the moment you say AI, the thought processes and there's a sudden screech that happens in everybody's brains going like, this is not for us. This is too early. Or we don't have enough understanding. So yeah, it would be the humans that are going to be, bothered more from the implementation. Get that right, and I think then there are agencies and people who can help you implement the data part of it.
Yeah, so on getting everyone, on board before the actual implementation.
I think the ROI part is very difficult, right? Either there has to be a significant cost reduction, which is very straightforward, or value addition, right? In the banking world, we think that the cross sells are in fact much more poorer, and can be, that is a value add, right? So AI is you approach that from a value add perspective, rather than, let's say, cost cutting perspective, right? I think these are the only two ways fundamentally to convince the leadership to buy in.
Rahul, so we heard about, the challenges, the data related challenges or the internal challenges, and justifying that investment. Let's look into the future. What do you think, what is there in the future? We talked about, the technologies like automation, the AI, the chatbots. What is next in the world of retention and loyalty?
Right. So, talking of AI, I just wanted to pitch in the previous question that you had asked in terms of challenges. One of the key things that, somebody misses out on, and that's because we may have watched a lot of, TV series and movies to think that, the moment AI would kick in, it would solve all my problems. Yeah, so we need to have that sort of patience, and for the algorithm to learn, and AI cannot think for itself. So obviously we'd have to get the, desired work out of them. In that sense, I see a lot of, changes happening within this segment, within businesses. One of them is that in terms of loyalty, gamifications have started happening. It gives me that wow feeling. It's not to do with what sort of awards or rewards I'm winning. It is about, I'm playing a game, I'm engaging with the brand. It is helping with both the branding as well as retention, or maybe, next shopping. The next thing is hyper personalization, as Ram was earlier mentioning. So obviously, I would not appreciate a message coming from somebody as dear sir, ma'am, right? And they should know, what sort of preferences I have. In banking, of course, if they can send me offers for car loan, but if my salary is not enough, what would I do buying a car? So all of those, I think intelligence is something that AI brings on the table. The future is bright. My understanding of AI doesn't go beyond ChatGPT. So I think I think I would not be the right person.
So further refinement of, the personalization and recommendations.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Desi?
See, recently I came across a study, a report on the Indian toffee industry going down dramatically. Okay, it's going down every day. Anybody can guess what is the reason for toffee industry going down?
UPI.
Yes. So the reason is the UPI, right? So where the competition is going to come in as an alternative reason to hit you is unknown to us, especially after the AI. So this has to be kept in mind whenever somebody is discussing about the ROI. You may not be knowing, you may not be able to see. So what I tell to my customer is, what is your ROI on investment on your son or a daughter? You have no idea what is that ROI is going to be. So from a company point of view, if you see that as your child, at least the top management guys, if you see that as a child, you better start investing irrespective of your ROI is visible right now or not. It will be, because if you see this, there are, Nikita touched about the touch points. If you have seen one thing very clearly in the history of touch points, the first electronic touch point with the customer was telephone. And then it became email and websites, Facebook pages, WhatsApp and everything. only one technology in that link has disappeared. Only one out of all of them, and every other touch point is still alive, and that is pager. Pager is the only thing which disappeared. Remaining all other things are still existing for one another reason. That's two-way. All these platforms are two-way possible. Your phone, your email, everything is two-way possible. Pager disappeared because it was one way. Okay, so AI is very natural element which is getting added into it as a touch point. So it is going to be there forever. It is going, I'm not saying whether it will replace 60% of the manpower, 20% of the manpower, that's a secondary point, but this is becoming an important aspect in the journey of transitions of touch points which are happening among the customers, employees, channel partners, whomsoever it is there. So my opinion is that be ready for that unpredictable thing which may happen onto you, hitting you from AI point of view, and you have to admit as a senior management, top management, saying that I don't want that visibility, but I want to start using it in at least on the predictable elements which is necessary for me today.
And
Very
if I
interesting.
could just add to this, I think one way of looking at it is ROI. The other is what is the loss that you are potentially going to incur if you don't jump on it right now. If you lose out on this time and you've not set your processes right, you haven't even considered how AI is going to come in.
Just to add to it, you know, we have a customer who is making this automobile component. Okay, they are suddenly struggling to understand how to cope up with the EV requirement because they never had a component which can be sold to a EV cars. But EV is not new now, right? It's happening for the last 10, 12 years. And I was telling the customer, you didn't prepare yourself for making another component for the EV market. That's your problem, right? It's same like that. You know, now it's starting, but companies need to be prepared for the next 10 years.
Yes,
Very
and
interesting. And
just
very
one more
interesting
thing.
sales pitch as well.
So
Invest now.
Desi mentioned that, what's the, sorry, not Desi, Nikita mentioned that, what's the opportunity loss or business loss. So just a report that had recently come via Amazon, that 30% of their sales happening on Amazon globally was through AI searches. So that's the sort of business impact AI is currently making on our daily lives. So, I mean, and it is bound to grow because, AI is something that not a lot of people understand it, but everybody fears it. So I'm sure that, that number is going to go higher and higher.
Fantastic. So one recommendation or the tip that you can offer that people can implement today, and without investing too much time and money, what that one recommendation would.
I would in fact not give that recommendation, right? Because it may actually end up becoming very counterproductive, right? It should be a deliberate decision rather than like, let's say, a simple reaction to what is happening. Nevertheless, I think in fact one recommendation that I would give is that look at the equivalent business, whoever the same business that you are in. Look at the companies in, say, the US, in China. How are they selling? How are they engaging with customers? Right? That is a potential future, what it will look like in India as well. Right? And I think that that should drive the decision maker towards the right direction.
Fantastic. Nikita?
Yeah. A quick one, if you guys haven't already, use AI for generating your images, use AI for making your PPTs, use AI for content. It's the easiest thing to do. Copilot's now almost just in your Microsoft as well. So do that. That's the smallest start because that unlocks in your mind you being able to use AI. And then
Very-
everything else more technical.
Very practical advice. Rahul?
Yeah. So So I can just talk from Trackier's standpoint. As Trackier, we are an affiliate tracking platform for brand and ad agencies. It's a DIY tool, so the end consumer is the agency or the brand that is using our platform. But even so, we have boarded that train. So this year, Trackier has taken a conscious decision that we would be moving ahead with implementing AI tools like Copilot, as Nikita was mentioning, and also a lot of AI and ML into the platform. So the marketeer gets that tangible insights on which campaigns are performing better, which media sources are performing in the manner that they should. Also, the attention span or patience of somebody has deeply gone down with the screen sizes getting smaller and the technology getting faster. So we have implemented those modules within the system that you can just set your objective within the platform and they would create the entire campaign for you. So that is something that we are on verge of doing.
Great. Desi?
I'm a B2B guy, so I will use some jargons as usual. I say, be the goat. Okay? What do we mean by be the goat if you want to be in AI is that set your goals, whatever it is. It can be small, big, whatever. Are you able to orchestrate that data which is required? And collection of data, like what Ram was pointing, conventionally it's a form-based system is what we collect data, but now you can have conversational data collections, while speaking, etc. So it's easy to orchestrate that data. Third is plan your AI agents. People like us can help you in understanding how the AI agents work. Henceforth, transform. So I say, from the football, I borrowed this word and said, like, be the goat. And so you will be able to transform your business slowly and steadily towards AI readiness.
Great. Fantastic discussion. And with that, if we have time for one or two questions, if there are any. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.